soon as I know for sure it's up on Restream and Facebook, which it looks like it is. All right, we're good. So 3, 2. Welcome back to the Alchemist Nation podcast. My name is Gualter Amarelo. I get the pleasure of traveling all across the country, speaking to real estate investors who have been successful millionaires and want to give back. Drew and Risha, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
And thank you for helping me pronounce your name, Risha.
All good. All good.
So how did you guys get started in real estate?
You know what? We got started.
We laugh about it. There's got to be somebody that relates to this story. I'm telling you. Go ahead.
So one day Drew was in his email account and that was when Yahoo was a big deal. And right when he closed his email, all of a sudden there was that banner ad that was advertising a free 3-day class.
Or free event. Come to this free event, learn about investing.
That's right.
And I got excited because it's like, wow, the universe must have just aligned and knows that I'm looking to get into this space because we were, kind of at a stage in our life, we're getting serious and looking at, taking that next step relationship wise. She wanted to buy a house. I had a house. This is like 09. I'm thinking, but I can't sell mine. I'm underwater. I don't even know what to do. So this magical message found me. And how lucky were we to attend a free event that just, sent to the back of the room drinking the Kool-Aid. I mean, it was hook, line, and sinker right out of the gate. We saw the opportunity, the promise of what real estate investing can build as a new opportunity to build wealth. And we saw it, and it was just so different from what we were doing as far as, a young corporate couple with no kids yet.
Right.
So we decided we wanted to pursue it. Toe dipping at first and then a little bit more all in later on.
Yeah, we started, so as Drew was mentioning, we started as landlords. So that was our entry. A lot of people we talk to now start more on the wholesaling side or more of the active income side, but we got sold into the dream of the passive income and just started there.
I love that that's where you guys started because my story is about the same. I started buying multifamilies. I was just like, all right, I want this one. I want this one. And I must have owned 12, 14 houses before I finally flipped something. Like it's just, I was in it for landlording, and I still to this day have not wholesaled a single deal. I buy from wholesalers, I train wholesalers, I train agents, but like not because I want to wholesale, because I want to buy, right? I'm a net buyer. So what is it that you see as the true goal? I mean, you start as a landlord and then you shift into some other aspects. What are the reasons for each one of them?
Well, that's a really great question. We got into it because we saw the potential of that lifestyle of just being able to wake up when you want, where you want, and do what you want. Like you don't have to do the same thing that we were taught over and over. And I would say I'm more of a rule breaker. And so part of the idea of working for somebody forever, it seemed very monotonous to me, but I had no idea that there was another way. So I was really excited when I got to break that rule. And I was like, okay, here's this path. Like I see this vision for us. And so we started on the passive side. And then for us, we did not learn how to use other people's money right away. And so we didn't really understand, like we were getting bank leverage and we were—
Hey, bank money is the cheap money. It's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
It is. And that it was wonderful. And it allowed us to go ahead and buy some properties, but it was a relatively slow process for as determined as we felt or ambitious as we felt, And so then it was, okay, how am I going to actually get out of my job? Because I was the one that really disliked my job. And I wanted to do something else.
And you see that buying a house one at a time, I'm gonna go save 10, 20 grand, go to the bank with your 800 FICO and your shiny W-2, get a loan, get some cash flow, rinse and repeat. It's like to $300 a month to get 10 of these, saving 10, 20 grand a pop. It's like, this is gonna take too long.
Right.
And that's where part of the rub came, because as we got our family started, it's like, okay, well, she brings good income to the table, but she hates what she's doing. It's such a contradictory to like the new mom. She's like, I got to get out of here. And, lucky for us at the time, it was like when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And, out from the skies was one of the, big time deal doers in Phoenix at the time, who was open to essentially start doing free wholesaling training in exchange for opportunities to get more deals because he had funding coming in and needed to place the capital faster. Simple as that. She's like, hey, here's that wholesaling thing that we were going to try back when the market was just in the dumps and everything was wholesale. And I would love to do that way more than just kind of claw my eyes out with this job. And it's kind of like, all right, well, we drank the Kool-Aid before. Can it be possible this time? And I knew she was that miserable. Hey, happy wife, happy life. Let's go for it. Worst case, get another job.
Truth. And I like that you mentioned the 3-day events. 3-day events actually changed my life back in 2015, got me into this. And I started doing a 3-day event now. I have it coming up in October. It's called the 100 Millionaires Summit, where we just bring everybody together and we go after building their mindset so they can take that next level, whether it's building a business or buying real estate. Because like, as you've noticed, you can buy real estate until you run out of money. And then you've got to build a business, right?
Yeah.
You went down the wholesale road. What advice would you give to somebody who's just getting started with wholesaling? And why would you say wholesale before being an agent or before flipping or before buying some real estate?
You know what? I wouldn't say that you have to do wholesaling before doing the other things. I really have found through our journey that each type of real estate investing can line up with your personality type. So there are going to be people that are great at wholesaling. And if you are a wholesaler and you want to get into wholesaling, go have your hand at it. But if you find that like you just want to flip properties and you don't want to do some of the in the trenches work that the wholesalers do, then go flip a property. One of the biggest differences that I see when we flip properties versus when we wholesale properties is that when you're finding those wholesale deals, you have to talk to the sellers. You have to be willing to negotiate. You have to be the one willing to give the low ball offer. You have to, learn how to negotiate down if you come in too high. You have to do these things that are really uncomfortable. And if you're not good at communicating with people and you're not willing to say those things, then don't be a wholesaler. Like, just don't do it. It's okay. Go buy from wholesalers, like you said, like you're doing. It's like, go buy from wholesalers and then enjoy the property and the process, because you're not hurting the property's feelings as you demo it.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I love that process of identifying. So we actually, in Alchemist Nation, we have something called the investor blueprint and the investor personality test. So you actually go and you identify what kind of investor are you, where do you belong? So you don't waste all that time, right? You guys go to course after course after course, and you've seen it, I'm sure. I mean, hopefully you've never suffered it. Like, it seems like anytime you drink the Kool-Aid, it's the right Kool-Aid, right? You got the right flavor. Well, a lot of people will go drink all the Kool-Aid and then do nothing.
Yeah, and that's the pitfall too, right? If you just stay in the acquisition of information stage and never go implement, it's like you're the smartest person in the room with the empty pockets. Like, that doesn't make any sense either. Mm-hmm. And so you got to do some of the stuff, and that teaches you, like you asked about the wholesaling question. Well, if you're winning in that arena, why do something else? And in some education programs, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, you're introduced to wholesaling because it's like, hey, no cash, no credit, make a buck. Right. But depending on what your goals are, your vision, your background, your skill set, and what your coachability is, you might want to be an international land developer, and that's your big your big, hairy, audacious goal. Or you might want to be sitting on the dock of the bay, only getting passive income. And so you have to learn, wow, wholesaling's not the most passive, right? But landlording might not be as passive as it's sold as. So what are you trying to get to? Where do you want to go? And what feels good? Because you got to do something to figure that part out. Yeah. And it teaches you.
That's the truth, man. I teach a course now called Be the Bank for that exact reason. Some people are just like, yo, I just want to lend money. It doesn't have to be my money. I just want to be involved in the deal, but not do the deal or find the deal. I'd rather just finance the deal. So like, there's all sorts of levels in real estate investing. I want to ask, where are you looking to go as a couple? Like, where you see your business transforming and moving yourselves into?
That's a great question. Well, I think kind of right on the heels of the last answer, what the last, 12 years has taught us is that you can go as fast and as far in any lane you want. Mm-hmm. And part of that is like, all right, well, you might be able to go fast and far, like let's talk about wholesale specifically, in that lane, but it may not be the lane that you want to run the whole race in. Right. And so, we've got 4 kids now, right? We're blessed with abundance of happy, healthy children. And so there's certain elements of the hustle that's like, we're trying to change lanes. We're in a different stage. So if you can get, there's things in wholesaling you can do where you can do way less volume and have the exact same or greater profits, not revenue, profits.
Right.
And so for us, I think it's shifting to the passive income that matters, because we know that we can build that. We're still workhorses. We'll contribute to the active income arena, but you really got to get to that passive so you can get the fruits of the labor that you put in previously and are willing to put in now. And I think that's kind of that promise we really wanted to begin with.
Yep.
You just thought that you had to just grind for 50 years. We take an E-quadrant employee mentality to the hustle and the entrepreneur world and don't let that go.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a better end result that we pay the price to get.
Yeah.
It's so funny that we come into this world as entrepreneurs. You're gonna go quadrant, right? Cash flow. You start as an entrepreneur, and then you get into self-employed, and you're like, I've made it. I've made it in life. I'm self-employed. and like one day you just wake up, and it sounds like maybe 12 years later or 11 years later, you wake up and you're like, holy shit, like there's a whole other side of this quadrant. What is this E&I shit?
You forgot about it. You learned it at the
I'm sorry, B&I, business owner and investor. So Drew and Risha, what sides of the business do you find yourselves? I know for me and my business partner, we're complete opposites. I'm more of the go-getter, big business deals. I'm not afraid of shit. And then he's more of like, make sure the finances are in place, follow all the rules, be afraid of everything so that we don't fall apart. Like what side of the company do you guys stand on?
That's funny.
That's real funny. You're gonna laugh at it.
Funny, not funny, isn't it?
It's funny. I think it's just really great to watch, because Drew and I have really grown into our personalities more, and we've grown in to see how we actually operate now that we are full-time, now that we are only dependent on ourselves and what we produce. And so I am definitely more of the shoot from the hip and let's go for it. And we can do anything, and and then Drew is there. Drew definitely believes in everything that we are going after, but he is going to make sure the numbers are in place.
Still trying to take the W-2 with the engineering background, that everything's got to be calculated, right? Or takeoff, wind up in outer space, trying to figure out.
Yeah, it's the engineering part, and for the couples out there, and for the families out there, it's the man's role, right? In the sense that like you should make sure everything is solid. And so in our relationship, that's a big part of it.
I love it. So I am so gender neutral on this, because I say all the time, like Darina's job, my girlfriend's job is to make sure my life is stable, make sure that everything is protected, because I'm not doing that. Like I'll throw money at it to protect us if necessary, but I'm not going to spend my time. Like she'll manage the protection, right? And then on the other side of it is like, as far as women go in real estate investing, I believe that women have a better chance of being successful than the man does starting out of the gate. Now, I think that anybody is equal once you've gotten into the business and you can really go and master the principles. But women are not going to go raise the fucking hammer. Like they're not going to go pick up the hammer and be like, I've got this, like the guy is born thinking I've got to do hard work. I'm going to be so proud of everything that I know how to do. Look at me. I'm the engineer, right, Drew? I know how to do this.
Handling it all.
I handled this in school. Like I could do this now. And a woman's going to stand outside of the same house and be like, and she's going to stand there until somebody walks by and volunteers to do something. Right?
Oh my goodness. I'm having such a great time here. That's really funny, because that's opposite.
Oh, no way.
I am going to be the one with the hammer. I will be the one there has been a number of times where he will sit there and go, Risha, we have a team of people that will do this.
And she just got her nails done. I'm like, what are you grabbing a sledgehammer for? It's overrated, right?
But there's power in it, and there is pride in it. And it is like, you know what? And I was raised like, you can do everything a man can do. And that's not, but like, that is the thing, is like really take control. And so when I got started in wholesaling, Drew held it down with the job, and he made sure that we were stable, and that was secure. And I went into this class, and this class was, 30 people, maybe 20 people learning how to wholesale. And I was probably the only female, or very few of us were female. And then I was definitely the only female, like actually doing things in that group. And it just felt at the time that there was a lot less women in the industry.
There still
and
is. We're working on that. It's still.
I felt like that was to my advantage. I actually felt like it was a lot to my advantage. Now I see, and I've been a part of a lot more masterminds and groups and conferences and stuff that are female focused, which is awesome. And it's really empowering, but it definitely didn't start that way. And it definitely has still got room to grow. But I think you're right, because there's the people, it's personality types, right? Mm-hmm. Regardless of gender, it's personality types. Like, I'm going to go and raise a hammer. He's not. He'll make sure everything is solid, and I'm just going to go for it.
You know what, Drew? I'm gonna have to give you points in this one, man. I had to get in touch with that opposite side of my personality, right, to finally be successful. I had to. I call it like the feminine side, but Risha is like, nope. Women can be this way too. Women pick up hammers. So
yeah, you'd be surprised. You know, and it's funny. Thinking of the first flip after I fired my boss, I was so happy to just roll the sleeves up, get the hands dirty. I grabbed the sledgehammer. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking control. I swear the next day I about blew my back out. I was like, what did I do? I don't swing hammers. I got a white collar job. I push buttons all day. And it was like, okay, that's why we hire the experts. And I fell back into my lane quickly, but I did have that appreciation.
Yes, you did.
Telling you, it's part of the game. You know, I still will pick up a hammer if there's a camera rolling, right? Like if there's somebody watching me, there's a camera rolling, like I'll pick up a toilet, I'll do whatever, you know, as long as there's an audience. But if there's no audience, I'm like, no, please, like go somewhere else. So I love the camaraderie. Like, you two really have a great connection, and you have a great vision for what you're looking to create for yourselves, for kids. How do you manage all of it? Because, you know, I coach and mentor a lot of students, and this is the one thing that I cannot stand hearing, because the most successful friends I have 5 kids or 6 kids, right. But they'll come to me and say, oh, you know, I can't do it because I have a kid. Mm-hmm. A kid, one. How do you manage 4 and build a successful business?
You know, it's building a team around you. Like, nobody that's at the top got to the top by themselves. And one of the things we were just talking about yesterday is, isn't it interesting that when we go from being in a job where you get hired and you work for a different company, and you leave that environment and you go work for yourself, now all of a sudden you have this like macho attitude that everybody is against you, and that you have to compete with everybody else, and that you're like this me against the world. And yes, you should be like, you should have that strength to say, you know what, if nobody wants to work with me, I'm still going to the top. Mm-hmm. But there's so much more power in collaborating with other people and to building that team. We had one of our first huge ahas in this moment, or in this like arena, I guess, would be like, I was sitting there one day working, but I'd come home, I dropped the kids off at school, and this was like,
I love how you air quotes working, right? I love that.
Really encapsulate the vision.
It was like, it was a work day. And so I dropped the 2 children off, I come back to the house, and now it's like 9:30 or 10. Well, then what do you have to do? You have to go and take a shower. And now you're done to take a shower, you have to clean the kitchen, because you cannot work in a dirty kitchen. So I need to clean the kitchen. Now I need to like, okay, I'm going to do some calls. Then it's 11 to 2. And at 2 o'clock, I'm sitting there like, I need to run to the store because I need to get stuff for dinner in order to pick the kids up by 3:30. You know, and so I'm doing all of this, and I'm having to make my business happen in 2 or 3 hours a day. You just have to. And then I'm sitting there one day cleaning the kitchen, listening to an audio from Darren Hardy, and he was talking about, this is where you need to build a team and you need to employ people. And I thought, I don't need to listen to this, because I'm not at the stage of employing people. Like, I am brand new or relatively new. And then it hit me as I'm cleaning the counters, and I said, I don't need to hire somebody in my real estate business. I need to hire somebody to clean my counters. Because if I can pay somebody to clean my counters, even if I pay them a couple $100 a week even, I can make more than that in one deal a month.
Yep.
And that's when I started hiring out for the house stuff. So we have a lot of assistants that help us through our personal life, We use a lot of those hacks of delivery services, use a personal shopper, pick up your groceries at the curb. Like we've been doing that way before 2020.
We've
Like,
been on it.
Yeah, like come on, guys.
COVID just caught everybody up.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It did not change any of our stuff. So like that was the biggest aha for us for the longest time, was like, you know what, now we have a group of people. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a family. It takes a village to raise a business.
Yeah.
And so let's create that village and let's go to the top together.
I love it, because I told Dorina she wants to have a kid, and I was like, yeah, I'll have a kid when there's like a village to take care of the kid. You know, I heard Bill Clinton say it once, takes a village. And I was like, yo, like we just moved to Tampa. We got to get our village in place, because I'm not
There you
changing
go.
diapers. Like I'm not doing it. You know, I'm a loving guy, but I love my mission. I love what I'm doing. And like babysitting, I bet you that's a $10 an hour job. I guarantee you. And it doesn't make sense to do all of that. But what part, you know, with your 4 kids is the most important part for you to spend with them? Because obviously you delegate a lot of it, but there's certain pieces that you don't delegate. What are those pieces?
I think probably our meal time is one of them.
Absolutely.
You know, obviously, you know, cooking is a big thing in our household and family time. It's a little traditional, but you know, it's like, hey, family that prays together stays together.
Yep.
So we've got some of those best practices built in as far as how we're able to connect with them. How was your day? What did you learn? How are you feeling? What went well? What didn't go well? Give us more. Let's connect. Let's build a relationship, because so much of this relationship, their childhood is going to be very small, and it's your best opportunity to be able to connect, communicate, and really learn and develop the foundation of that relationship. Because, you know, by the time they're 16, they don't want nothing to do with you. You know, give me the keys, give me the cash, I'm out of here to go hang with my friends. And, you know, there's sometimes some mistakes in judgment that we've learned from other parents that were just hustling too hard, grinding too hard at this little time when that was their window. And when the window's lost, it's gone forever. So just some things you have to sometimes keep in mind. You know, don't lose sight of where you're going as you go through the dips and turns and everything else. Some things you have to keep as your true north. And so the meal time is probably the biggest.
I would say that. And then I really enjoy driving our kids around. Like that for me, I love it. I know that not everybody feels that way, but I really
I have so much respect for you. Like the things you pick are the ones I hate, and Drew's like mealtime, I'm with it. And I have so much respect for people that are different from me. So I love this.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I love hanging out in the car. I love getting out of the house. I love driving around. I love being with them. You get to listen to music. You get to blast it. You get to talk, you know, about what's going on. You get to drive for dollars. You get to teach them what you do. You know, there's a lot of fun that can be there. And so I hold on to that, even though we've talked and we've explored bringing drivers on and people that can come and take, because you see the value in the time. But at the same time, there's a lot of value in the time that I'm investing with them for those 15 minutes or for that 30-minute drive. So I really enjoy that part. I think that's big. And then because we have 4 kids, we've learned along the way. Each one is really different. And so like with baby number 1, I wasn't even wholesaling full time when I was on maternity leave. Like that wasn't it. And he was like the best sleeper ever. And so I was like, man, if we do this again,
Like
I am going to be working during this nap time and I can get so much done. Awesome. And then we have baby number 2 and he's like, I don't sleep.
Not having it.
Ever.
Denied.
Yeah. Same playbook, different player,
Right.
different results.
So that was a big one. And, you know, we were hustling a lot when we had, you know, our second child. And that was when we weren't focused on the family life the same way we are now. And I think it's due to that in a lot of instances. I mean, we were closing deals in the hospital room as we delivered the baby. So it's like, why are you trying?
That's how it's done. That's real estate.
No days
Close it
off.
on the table.
It's like,
but looking back, I'm like,
let that
man,
every time in the delivery room. Yeah.
maybe not.
Maybe not. Once you've done it, you know.
Right. You've done it, you learn.
It's cool, but it was cool. And then you're ready for other things that fill your bucket differently.
Yep.
I love that, because there's so many people out there who are afraid of having kids because they want to be successful. And then there's the others who say they can't be successful because they have kids. I am in the first bunch where I'm like, I'm just going to go make a couple $1 million and then I'll have a baby. And then I made the money. I was like, well, now I need to make $10 million before I have a baby. And, I'll probably aim at $1 billion like in a few years just to be
The
like,
yardstick
hey.
always moves. Then you've aged out. You're like, I don't think I can really contribute.
And then I'm like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, just like, yeah, just bring 7 over. Just bring them over after age 4.
There's your village.
So we got the built-in village concept going. So I know we got to end this, but before we do, what's the easiest way somebody could reach out to you if they were looking to learn more about what you're doing or maybe add value to your business?
You know what? You can find us either on YouTube. Our channel is youtube.com/blackbookninjas, or you can find us at blackbookninjas.com.
Black with Ninjas.
Black Book Ninjas.
Black Book Ninjas.
Black
I
Book
see the
Ninjas.
shirt. You're wearing the brand.
Blackbookninjas.com.
I love it. So I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires. Right?
I love it. Yes.
Who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. I think that you both are doing the same exact thing. If you were able to go back to 20-year-old Drew and Risha, and I'll let both of you kind of pick which ones you're going to give, what 3 pieces of advice would you give your children as they're growing up or your 20-year-old selves, a 20-year-old entrepreneur coming into this business? How can you get to where you are faster, happier, and with more impact?
I would say, I'm going to start so that you don't take
Yeah,
my answers.
Okay, yeah. We'll probably have like 2 out of the 3 same answers.
I would say dream big. Like do not put a ceiling on your dreams. Don't stop. Go after them. Go after them without stopping. And collaborate and work with others to get to the top faster instead of trying to compete with everyone.
I love that. I love that. Drew, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, the things I would add was, I was going to say, think bigger, right? We have a vision that gets painted that makes us want to go down this path, but like what we're aiming for is far too small, to one day own 10 houses. Now it's like, oh my gosh, if it was just 10 houses, it's like your perspective shifts. So think way bigger. And then don't think so linearly, like 4 green houses, 1 red hotel. We believed in that. And we were doing it. Get a loan, save money, get a loan, buy a house, cash flow, do it again. It's like, there's people jumping in with their first 100 grand and just getting into a part of an apartment building and then get equity and then boom, boom, boom. And they're just accelerating faster. So you don't have to do it. So eeny, meeny, miny, mo, slowpoke version. And then, the third is kind of with that volume or velocity is that, know that it doesn't rely all on you. And the faster you can break that shackle of and make friends and collaborate with these people, you're going to have that power team, that dream team, that all-star setup of individuals that are like-minded with good core values around you. And that's going to be that magic propellant to help lift you so much faster. So I could have picked that up 20 plus years ago. I'd have jumped on board and probably broken some shackles that maybe held me back from the E-quadrant thinking that there's still a little trace of it. I still try and shake it sometimes.
I love it. You guys have what we call the alchemist mindset, where you are somebody who transforms yourself and then transforms others. I appreciate you being on the podcast. If you are listening to this and you like to help and support the mission of building more millionaires, go to iTunes and hit Alchemist Nation Podcast. Give us a great review. And also go check out Drew and Risha, what they're doing on YouTube. It's a valuable process to be learning from a lot of different people. And if you add value to other people, you will be successful. Go to ibuildmillionaires.com/summit to register for our event coming up, the 100 Millionaire Summit in Orlando. Hope to see you there. Cheers to your success. You have a choice. Always work with the best. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Risha. Awesome job today.
Thank you very much for having us. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. And I'd like to, for a minute, just pick your brains on some stuff. See if